Well, welcome to another episode of Satisfying Static.
Hello.
Maggie's actively adjusting her hair, and now she's got like an alfalfa sprout. It's rough.
Fixed it.
There you go. Proud of you.
Thank you. It was a struggle.
Apologies for missing last week. Yep, last week, right?
Yeah.
This week. Well, by the time this comes out, it will have been last week.
We skipped an episode.
We skipped an episode. Again.
Oopsies.
Right. We should just make the show bi-weekly, dang it. But I had a sudden loss in my family. I had a text message on would have been the Thursday before the episode dropped saying that I needed to, come see him because he wasn't doing well. This man was like my stepfather, had raised me, pretty much been in my life in some fashion for like 15 years. Lovely guy. Had been sick for a long time, but was telling us that, it was kind of stable. And then it was all of a sudden significantly worse. And we had no idea until it was hours before he died. So I got back just in time, got to spend some time with him, and then he unfortunately passed right after I got there. But so I don't have all of my recording equipment in the Midwest, nor was I going to try and shove it into my one tiny 2-day backpack I brought on top of, having to deal with the rest of that.
Yeah, which is totally fair. Also love how you just glazed over that and jumped to not having recording equipment. I think you could have skipped that part. We would have understood.
Yeah. But also, I didn't have anything, and I didn't know where I was. I didn't find out where I was staying until I got there, and it was there was a lot.
And you were grieving and dealing with a lot, and totally understandable. You took care of that, and that's totally fine. So I'm glad you got to get there when you did. And you know what? Here we are for another episode of nonsense.
Another episode of nonsense. I don't think I have any housekeeping on my end other than that piece that we have the mini moon. Me and Olivia have the mini moon. So we're going on a full honeymoon next April, but we're going on a mini moon this week in the Catskills.
Ooh, I'm so excited for you guys. That'll be so fun.
We might be participating in a pottery class too. I don't know if we're doing that or not.
Is the Catskills where Dirty Dancing is set?
I don't know. Is the Catskills where Dirty Dancing is set?
Ask Olivia.
Hey, sweetie. Is Dirty Dancing in the Catskills?
What?
Dirty Dancing, the movie? Or you're walking over here. Wow, we're a new level of geriatric today. Dirty Dancing, the movie?
Yes.
Does it take place in the Catskills?
Oh, it might.
We're gonna have to Google it.
I'm looking it up right now. That wasn't a confirmation for me.
No, I don't actually know, but that would make sense.
Are we doing the pottery class?
I did not sign us up for it. I thought we did more.
Do the pottery class.
No commitment, no frills thing.
Oh, okay. But I thought we'd enjoy it.
Really?
Yeah.
You didn't seem too psyched about it.
I think we'd enjoy it.
Okay.
We can make you a planter.
Ooh.
Okay, I'll look into it.
Okay. That's all I needed. Do you want the answer to the Dirty Dancing? It was in the Catskills. Wow.
Yes.
Oh, okay, cute.
Makes sense.
I just know that they're on summer vacation at a resort thing where they all play family games together and stuff. But I thought I remembered it was in the Catskills, and I was like, I have no idea where that is. Apparently, near you.
It's in New York.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's a mountain range in New York.
Okay.
So, plot. In the summer of 1963, 17-year-old Frances Baby Houseman is vacationing with her family, cardiologist father Jake, mother Marge, and older sister Lisa at Kellerman's, which is an upscale Catskills resort in the Borscht Belt owned by Jake's sarcastic best friend, Max.
Amazing. I love that synopsis.
Everybody's welcome for that. Anyway, so everybody also learned real time that we aren't doing a pottery class. We might be, hopefully, maybe, but we're not currently signed up.
I feel like you will end up doing a pottery class now that it seems like Olivia understands that you are excited about the pottery class.
I thought I expressed excitement when we talked about it, but I must not have.
Well, she knows now, so I feel like she's going to figure that out for you guys.
She's looking at me like, what are you saying? Because the air conditioner's on, so she can't hear anything.
I know.
Hilarious. Did you have any housekeeping?
I may get another cat. We'll see.
The one that's been hanging outside your house?
Murray brought home a friend the other night.
That's the same one, though, right? The gray one?
Yeah. So, I think that's also the same cat that, I don't remember if I told you or this podcast, but, a month ago or maybe a month and a half ago, I was, up at 2 a.m.
Yeah, showing up at, the door, right?
Yeah, he was, at my window. I was like, what a freaking creep. Get out of here. And he just disappeared. And I'm like, of course it was like 2 a.m. and it was like twice. So I'm not sure, but I'm pretty sure that's the same cat. But now he didn't leave. So he came home with Murray and then he was still there in the morning. And I was like, okay, well, what the hell do I do with this cat? And Murray wasn't letting him come in through his little cat window, but they seemed like they were friends. Anyway, it's been like a hellish week with work and meetings and whatever. So I was like, I don't have time for this. This cat will leave. I don't know. So I left the cat alone and he's like screaming at the window, trying to crawl all over. He ended up falling off of the windowsill. I live on the second floor. It was like this whole thing. All my neighbors came out and were like, oh my God, this cat. And we're like feeding it and stuff. Meanwhile, I'm trying to have meetings. So I'm like, I'm not participating because
God.
like, I don't know anything about the cat. I don't know what to tell you besides Murray brought it home. So I kind of just like, the day went by and like some of the neighbors I think gave it food or whatever, but it eventually stopped screaming at my window and I was like, okay, maybe it'll go back to where it came from. It keeps coming back.
Yeah, this is called the cat distribution system. You're welcome. So now you have a cat.
Well,
Another one.
but he's very cute, and I'm not the only one who's got eyes on him because he's adorable. So, like, I don't know if I want him necessarily, but he's obsessed with Murray, or was, and they do seem to get along. But the downstairs neighbor, like, stopped me yesterday as I was coming home, who I've never talked to her before, and she was just like, hey, just a quick question. And I think wanted to find out if I wanted to keep the cat, and then I'm pretty sure that if I don't, she wants to or will try, but she also has a cat. So this whole building is like full of cats.
It might be nice for Murray because he's been kind of a jerk kind of randomly sometimes when he's not getting his enrichment in. So maybe it would be nice for him to have a friend.
That's kind of what I was thinking because honestly, he's been so chill ever since he's been hanging out with this cat because they just like spend all day outside and then he sleeps because sometimes Murray's a dick. This is facts.
Yeah.
That's why what everyone says about Murray is he's got such a sweet face. Yeah, you don't touch Murray. Sometimes it doesn't end well. This cat's really nice. He's like warming up to me and he was like showing me his belly and stuff and like let me pet him and didn't claw at me immediately because Murray would.
Yeah. No, you should get him. You should get him and name him something fun with Murray.
I keep calling him Max.
You can name him Bill. And then you have Bill Murray in the house.
That's funny. I like that. But we'll see. I also, I'm not sure if he has a home or not. So I might, if he comes back tonight or is back like later, because he hasn't been around all afternoon, it's been really hot, I might try to let him inside and at least post him on Nextdoor or something and see if anyone's lost their cat. No one says anything. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, you'll do all the stuff. You'll do the chip stuff and all that stuff. But
yeah, exactly. Like I was going to do that like ASAP. And then I was like, he's probably not chipped. But if I do end up snagging him, like, yeah, we'll go through all the steps and he's got to get fixed. So either way, he's got to go to the vet.
Oh, does he have like little kitty balls?
Oh, yeah.
Little kitty balls are so weird.
And he's like, okay, so this cat is so cute. For those of you who are curious who have not seen him, I've been posting him on my Instagram stories, but he's like gray with like little black feet and like little black stripes and then little black balls.
Oh my God.
So every time he walks away from you, it's just like this little gray booty and like two little black
testicles.
Yeah.
Vibing.
Two little
rough.
Yeah. Anyway, two little pom-poms. But he's adorable. He's got blue eyes and he's super cute. But I don't need another cat. It's tight enough in here already. Me and Murray.
It'll be fine. It'll be fine. Oh, I did forget something in my housekeeping, though. It's very important. I did it this morning.
What?
I bought a slushy machine.
Did you?
Like a shaved ice machine. And here's why.
Oh, okay.
Because where I come from, slushies are a very specific texture of, like shaved ice, but just a little more liquidy. Okay. There's no foam, but there's texture. So you get a little bit of a crunch.
Foam? Where do you get foam?
Slurpees from 7-Eleven.
Oh, those are gross.
Are a foam consistency. Correct. They are gross. The same thing as ices. Gross.
Also, yeah. Mm-hmm.
They're different than real slushies. And so I was looking it up because I really wanted a slushie. And I was like, slushies in the Boston area. There's one shop. It's called Slush King. And it's in East Boston, which is a 30-minute drive from where I am. So no thank you.
Fair.
And I was going through it. And I was like, where am I going to find it? I went and had one from 7-Eleven. Regrets. It's still foam. It's still gross. And so this morning I looked at Olivia and I was like, I want a slushie. And I was like, you know what? I've complained about it enough. I'm buying a machine. And so I got on Target and was like, oh, look, a Kona Ice shaved ice machine and some syrups. We're going to do it. And then I'm going to do a fine shave so it's not as hard as like a snow cone.
Okay.
So it'll be, and then you just add like, you know, a nice water mixture with some syrups, and it'll be a Slurpee. I'm really excited about it. Or slushy. I'm really excited about it.
Okay, because that was literally my first question was like, isn't it going to come out like a snow cone? Because I used to have a shaved ice machine when I was little because I was obsessed with snow cones. It was like a hand crank. It was a bitch and a half.
Well, this one's electric. There was two kinds. There was the snow cone kind, which I think makes it more compact.
Okay. And bigger, right?
Yeah, and the shaved ice kind seems to be going into a cup. Olivia stood up to come over here and laugh at me.
I just can't believe you're talking about it.
Of course I'm talking about it. It's my life. It's housekeeping. The first half of the episode is housekeeping.
Please don't cut Olivia's giggle because that was gold.
Anyway, so I couldn't get the syrups delivered. Olivia's going to have to go to Target and buy those because she's on summer vacation. She's got the time.
Amazing.
But I'm having the machine shipped here, and it's like a nice powder blue.
Ooh, cute.
Yeah, I hope it shaves it fine enough. I hope this isn't one of those, like, you know, instances where the picture is misleading.
Well, either way, you have like a snow cone machine in your house, and how cool is that? I would take that.
Also that. Yeah. I want a cool thing in my mouth with texture that isn't an ice pop or a fucking foam.
Fair. I get it. It's fine. I mean, I get it. I'm all about the texture stuff too. Actually, I've been making my own fizzy water drinks because I need to force myself to drink water because water is terrible. Why does anybody drink it?
Yeah.
And so I've been, instead of like adding sugars and like fake artificial sweeteners and stuff, I've just been making like juice and water and lime combinations that make me feel like I'm drinking a cocktail, but it's just water.
Yeah, Olivia's been on that lately. She's been doing mocktails with like a plain polar seltzer and fresh lemon.
Ooh.
They're pretty good.
See? Yeah, I realized for me it's like literally the like ice in the glass and the fizzy feeling is like what I need to force myself to drink the liquid. And then, hey, hydrated.
Wow. Good for you.
I know, right? It's the little things.
No more generator. Yeah.
That got a little interesting there at the end.
Olivia's just fucking staring at me. So uncomfortable. Okay. First word is loading slowly. Cycle. Or Seacle.
Oh.
C-Y-C-L-E.
Okay. Interesting. The first thing that made me think of was like bicycling, but that's just because it's summer and this is a big bicycle city and everyone...
Same.
There's a lot of bike rides happening. There's a group biking to San Pedro tonight. There's a full moon bike ride. And do you want to know what I ride? I moved it, so it's not in the background. I ride like a bike that's made for a little girl. It's too small for me. And also both tires are slowly going flat constantly.
Yeah, you're a tall lady. You can't ride a small bike.
It's just slightly too short for me. So I was like, I'm going to make do, but I've been making do with it for like 2 years.
It's time to upgrade.
And I feel like it might be time for an upgrade.
You got the car, get the bike.
Right. I'm going to secure the car first and then we'll think about the bike. But yeah, I keep like... There's not a place to store my bike in my, like around my apartment. So it sits in my apartment, which I hate. And I think I've figured out a way to put it outside, but it's like, it's going to have to be locked up in the alley, which is a little risky. And then I was like, this is like a yard sale little girl's bike. Like if someone steals it, am I going to be that mad about it? Probably not.
Right.
I think I'll live. This is the bike I'm willing to risk out there.
Yeah, it's annoying for you to have to take it up a flight. I get that.
It's that, and then also like getting it out is extremely difficult because the stairs start right outside my door, and I have a screen door. So navigating, locking my door without my bike rolling down the stairs is very hard.
No, that is hard. And you don't want your, like, because if you don't keep the door open just right, your back tire will just go through your screen.
Well, like, so I need to go this way. My screen door opens this way, but it only opens so much, right? So,
okay.
So like I can, if I move my bike out to be able to like lock the door behind me, then I still need to like move the bike away from the screen door to be able to close the screen door. Or like, I mean, I could let it slam, but like it rubs against the bike the whole way and the bike needs to be off the landing for the door to close. So like, I'm like trying to balance the bike on the top stair while closing my door. So it's just not an ideal situation. Don't love it. But yeah, that was the first thing I thought of was bicycling. And then work, because all we've been talking about is cycles at work.
Cycles.
I work in something called like customer life cycle marketing. So it's like from your first like interaction with a business to all the different ways you interact with the business. And yeah, I've had a lot of meetings this week. So
So it's like if I buy a product, does that start my cycle?
no. So like way ahead of that. So like it would start in your research probably. Like let's say you're looking to buy a product. So you're starting to research like bicycles and you land on my bicycle website, right? Your first like interaction with us would actually be that Google search. So like
whatever hits.
Yeah.
Whatever.
So like you hitting that Google search and then it landing on the website. And then the next interaction could be, well, you gave us your email address. Cool. So then we sent you emails and then you clicked on one of those and then showed backup. And then maybe you didn't buy, but like maybe you got an ad on Instagram or whatever. And then from there, you ended up making a purchase. Like that would be your life cycle.
That is so complex. My brain melted for a moment.
It does get a little complex, and that's why I like it, because ADHD, right? Like it keeps it interesting. Like no two campaigns are ever the same, and there's like so many things going on that like you kind of have to zoom out and look at the whole picture a lot, which not a lot of people are good at. So I think it's fun for that reason, but yeah, it's also a little like creepy because we're kind of just like, what I do is I plan out your whole journey. So like, okay, if I was someone who was new to bicycling, if I was a new cyclist, what are the types of messages and things, and how many times would I need to see the brand before I actually made a purchase?
Wow.
It's fun.
It sounds like fun. It just sounds like, a lot of things to think of. When I think of the word cycle, I immediately think of the life cycle.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
It's very biology of me. I think of the cells and meiosis and mitosis and those things.
That's fair. I mean, we both thought of life cycles just in our own like professions.
That's true.
And then I thought of, I guess, cycling because that's a hobby-ish of mine. I don't know. I made a lot of friends that way.
Yeah, I was gonna say you're going on. I should say not same for me as a hobby. I don't ride a bicycle. I meant same in that I immediately thought of it because it's very big in Boston. Like this is the first place I've ever been that has built-in bike lanes on almost every road you're on.
Yeah, you said that, and we saw that when we were walking around too downtown, right? Yeah.
Bike lanes everywhere.
And bicyclists, and it was cold. I was like, what are you doing?
Yep. And it really changed how I drive because I didn't ever think to look for pedestrians and or cyclists in those lanes, like, because we just didn't have them in the Midwest very much. So I would take a turn and then I'd be like, oh God, there's a bike. Like I didn't almost come off or almost hit them or whatever.
That's fair. It takes time to get used to. I'm actually scared to start driving regularly in California because motorcycles lane split here, and that's not something I've ever been used to. And still, when I'm the passenger in a car and it happens, I get scared. Like it scares the fuck out of me because they're loud and they go really fast by you.
And it's legal. So if you accidentally hit them, you are 100% in the fault.
Right. So like I'm very nervous of that. I need to be super hyper aware of that. But like that is one thing that I'm like, okay, I know there's going to be adjustments to me driving out here. I hope that's the only major one.
You'll get used to it for sure. I did learn that the reason why lane splitting in California is legal is because a lot of the older motorcycles would overheat if they sat too long in traffic.
Really?
Yeah, so you would have all these dead motorcycles or broken down motorcycles making traffic worse. So the argument was because they're air cooled, they're fan cooled, and to do that you have to be moving. And so the proposal was let them keep moving, let them lane split, and make it illegal for people to stop them from doing that. And then you don't get as much traffic in the ways of breakdowns and whatever else.
I wonder if they've kept it because of congestion, because congestion is so bad here that like that does free up space if you don't have like motorcycles sitting in those lanes either.
I have to imagine that's part of it for sure.
Either way, it's terrifying. If you're not used to it, you didn't grow up around it, it's never happened to you, it's so scary.
Well, in riding a motorcycle, it's terrifying. I never did it when I rode a motorcycle because you never knew if someone was going to try and half-ass change lanes in that moment and cut you off, or if someone, God forbid, it stopped traffic, they throw open a door.
Something, yeah, right.
In other California news, did you hear about the Manson woman that got paroled?
Oh, no, I didn't.
One of the Manson murderers got paroled officially yesterday.
Really?
Yeah, I can't remember her name. She is the one. For those of you that don't know about the Manson murders, Charles Manson led this cult, and he basically convinced all these people to commit brutal murders. And it's kind of, California gets like this big, thing out there.
He's, I think, a popular, he would be a popular serial killer, air quotes, because he didn't really kill anybody, but he's, there's movies
Sure.
and books and things written about him.
You know the name, and he's a big dark tourist attraction is the houses that he was involved, and you hear him most commonly tied to the Tate murders. But there was another set of murders that happened. She was involved in the other set of murders, and what this woman particularly did is she held down a pregnant woman while somebody else stabbed the pregnant woman, and then that guy, Tex, looked at her and said, "You need to do something," and handed her the knife. And then she proceeded to finish stabbing the pregnant woman to death an additional 12 or so times. So that woman has just been paroled.
Yeah, I don't, at this point, this was in the 70s, so...
She's 79, maybe 73. Let's look it up. I can tell you which one it was.
I don't know. I have issues with this for a lot of reasons, but one of the ones that's sticking out right now is the fact that what was the point in letting her go now? Okay, is she gonna live some sort of actual life? Obviously, prison has taken care of her for most of her life. Other people have taken care of her for most of her life. So what now? You just throw her in the streets when she's an old lady?
Yeah, Leslie Van Houten, a follower of Charles Manson who's convicted in 2 killings, was released on parole Tuesday. So yeah, literally just yesterday. At 73 years old, she spent more than 5 decades in prison.
Okay. I mean, I guess getting good for us, we don't have to pay for her anymore, but damn, okay.
Yeah, I don't know. I have mixed feelings, right? So you spent 50 years in prison. She has always stuck to the story that she was very brainwashed by this man and went through a very terrible time in her life when, blah, 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 blah. There are just some things that I feel like aren't really super excusable. And the brutal stabbing of a pregnant woman just feels like one of those things.
Yeah, I mean, for sure. I also agree with you there, but I feel like this is a system is broken problem.
Well, Governor Newsom had apparently overridden and declined her release at 5 separate times before this one. And this one, he's expressed, he's I'm not happy about it. And living members of the family are still around and they're we're also not happy about it. But she went to an appellate court and got it done that way. So couldn't really do much about it. He said that if he had, it would be pointless because she'd be able to fight it on the courts above him and it would get overturned.
Oh, okay. Well then, whatever, I guess. I don't know. That's just so strange.
I don't know. And his argument, which again, I have a hard time seeing this side, his argument is she's still a danger to society. But truthfully, what danger does a 73-year-old woman pose? One who spent the last 50 years in prison. I mean, what of this life does she know? She might know.
Right.
Cell phones and such. I've heard some prison systems allow for cell phones inside with limited use or whatever. So she might know of that. She might know of the internet. I don't know.
Right. That's what I'm saying is at this point in her life, and she spent so much of her life inside, she doesn't have very much life left to live. And she's going to be starting over from scratch.
Apparently she got her bachelor's and her master's from prison in counseling.
Okay, but she's still starting over from scratch, new relationships, learning how to shop, learning how to, the basics, not getting a job, literally learning how to interact as a human in the world.
Well, and she's not some of the other people who got off from other things, right? Like Casey Anthony got to move and change her name. This woman does not get to do that.
Right.
She doesn't get to change her name. She's a registered felon forever.
Right. It just seems so weird. It seems but I mean, I guess whatever, if you've been in prison your whole life and you only have a few years left to live, then this is your dying wish. You're going to fight for it.
It's just such an interesting dynamic about life in prison in general, right?
Yeah.
How can you send somebody to life with the opportunity of parole, but then not have a good system in place to get them back into a life? Or why even have life on the table if parole was going to be an option? I just feel I don't know. It just seems weird to me.
I feel that's valid for any extended period of time. You spend a decade in prison and come out 10 years of your life. That's a big deal. You're coming out to a whole different world.
Yeah.
And we don't have any systems in place for that. We just throw people back out into society. And which is why a lot of times they end up going right back in because that's all they know.
Well, anyway, this episode got super dark.
I feel it was a little roller coaster, but yeah.
Now you know how I feel about the prison system, I guess.
I mean, yeah, me too, I guess. And also, if I ever have the choice, less time.
Less time every time, for sure.
Less time every time is the moral of this podcast.
Yeah, a little gruesome. Had to talk about the Manson killers, but that was big California news. I had no idea that they were even considering it again, and so I was like, oh wow.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't see it. I've been a little busy, so I haven't been paying attention to the world this week, but I'm sure I'll hear about it. But yeah, that just seems so bizarre. I mean, I don't know how I feel about it because like
I'm very torn. I think had she only, here's how I delineate it. Had she only been in the house and helped hold somebody down, I would have felt better about it. I think the fact that she also actively participated in the stabbing piece feels particularly heinous.
and yeah, and just like why now? So many years been denied. Like why now? You know? I don't know. But
She's
anyway.
been actively petitioning since 2016. So for the last 7 years, she's been, actively petitioning to get out. And it's like,
And it hasn't that's the thing is like, and it hasn't happened for a reason. So why now? Is it just okay? Anyway, I don't know. It just kind of blows my mind, I guess.
yeah, I don't get it.
Interesting. Definitely interesting news. Definitely interesting news for any serial killer fans or serial killer followers because the Manson family is always a favorite.
Part of me wonders if she's fighting super hard to attain this thing that she thinks she wants and she's going to get it and then be like, there actually isn't much out here for me.
That's what makes me nervous. Like
Shawshank?
Okay, I haven't seen Shawshank. So.
Never? Oh.
It's so long. It's long.
It is long, but it's good.
Can they make it into a series?
I cannot believe you just said that to me. Spoiler alert, there's a character in there named Brooks, and he's in there for a very long time. He goes in like in his, I want to say 20s, and he's in there until like his 70s or 80s. He gets out and he gets a job at like a grocery store, and he's in like a halfway house.
This is the same situation. Sorry, I got too excited.
And like cars and everything scare him, and he doesn't understand. He's so used to prison that he's like raising his hand to get his boss's attention so he can go to the bathroom. And his boss is like, what are you doing?
Right.
He's like, can I go to the bathroom? And he's like, you don't have to do that. This ends tragically. He hangs himself because the world is just too depressing.
That's not what I was thinking was going to happen. I was thinking she was going to try and throw herself back in there. But, either way, doesn't seem like a good idea,
I don't remember well enough if he tries to get back in or not. But yeah, he hangs himself. That's pretty sad.
Okay, so either way, there's not a good ending to the story. I guess we can hope that she gets what she wants and is happy with it.
Yeah, I hope she positively impacts other people's lives and is truly rehabilitated, because like that's technically what prison systems are supposed to do. They're supposed to rehabilitate people and make them operational members of society.
Right.
Doesn't really work that way, but I guess I hope for her it did.
I think we're both hoping for the best for everyone involved.
Okay. Well, on that particularly dark episode of Satisfying Static. Lots of death, dying, and gruesomeness. Sorry about it. That's the cycle of life, though. It ends in death.
Christine's grieving. It's okay.
Also that.
It is the cycle. It is the cycle of life. You're right. We just wrapped it up so perfectly. So until next time.